2 on a Derek Burris. This is Coffee Talk. We get together 7 days a week, chat about what's going on in the world of weather. It has definitely been a busy weekend in the world of weather as we have been watching Hurricane Fiona. We're going to have the very latest on that storm system. That plus, would you believe me if I told you, to some extent, we're going to be feeling fall. Don't get overly excited, my friends. It's not what you think. I said that to be more of a tease than anything, but we're going to be discussing those two top stories coming up in just a little bit. But first, let's look outside live and see what's doing on our tower cam perspective. Just a little bit of fog showing up in some spots around Central Florida, or at least low cloud cover. This is a shot Disney Springs, our tower cam network there, certainly showing those lowered visibilities. But where I am in kind of East Orange County, the skies are blue. There is no fog to be seen. So that's like West Orange, East Orange, very different perspective. Just kind of depends on where you are, right? So let's talk about things. First off, temperatures across town are looking great. Winter Haven, I think somebody needs to go out there with a screwdriver and tweak around the weather station. Doesn't look to me like that is a valid reading. But anyway, ignoring that, 75 in Orlando, 75 degrees in Leesburg. It's 74 degrees in the Villages. So it looks great. It feels great. And I'm broadcasting today from the car. I've got a school talk today. Don't do many of those. But yeah, I am today. And so there you go. So anyway, my brother reports no fog in St. Pete. So there you go. That's kind of the comings and goings. But there's Hurricane Fiona. You can see it in the bottom left corner of your screen. We'll be talking more about Fiona, of course, in just a couple of moments' time. Here's a look outside. And for now, first warning, live Doppler radars rain free. But I do want to talk a little bit about those visibility numbers. As soon as I type that. All right, there we go. So here's a look at the map, and you can very clearly see everybody is in that like 9 to 10 mile range. So we're actually doing fine for most of Central Florida, right? But when we looked at that Disney Springs camera, it looked quite foggy. So there are some little pockets that have lowered visibility, but none on our weather stations, which is fine by me. So where do we go weather-wise today? This morning, if it's cloudy and gray by you, it will be fine later on. For me, where I'm at in East Orange County, it is blue sky. I mean, you can kind of see it behind me, right? Like, it's blue sky. It's absolutely beautiful. We do look, though, around lunchtime to warming temperatures, and then into the afternoon, especially late afternoon, evening, we'll up those rain chances. Not as high as we saw those Saturday, Friday, Thursday. If you noticed, yesterday those rain chances came down a little bit. That trend is not only continuing for today, we're at about a 50% coverage today, but we're going to continue that trend all week long. My friends, if you are a fan of drier weather, it's changing. We're getting a little taste of fall in that sense. It's not like temperatures are going to be making a dramatic drop-off. They're not. But at least we've got some drier days ahead. So here's a look at where we're at in terms of high temperatures today. 90 in Orlando, that's right around average. 91 in Kissimmee, upper 80s in our northern spots, not too bad at all. Yeah, all right, let's take some questions, comments, concerns. Frank, good morning to you. Sarah says, good morning to you. I hope you're doing well. Lisa, good morning. Nikki, good morning. David, hey, Eric. Did you do your winter forecast yet? I hear we're in for a cold and rainy winter. So we're just starting to log the weather information for the next LRC cycle. The end of this year's hurricane forecast is basically here. We're going to start logging, and that means as well that we're going to start to use the BSR. And certainly we'll be discussing what that is if you're new to this whole thing, if you're new to Coffee Talk. Welcome, by the way. We do long-range forecasting here, and it's kind of something, it's not perfect, but it gives us a glimpse into the future, and so I think you may like it. We'll talk about the BSR, by the way, a little bit later on here about hurricane season and see what's coming down the pike. But let's start off with Futurecast and just see what Futurecast is saying for today. So there's lunchtime, a few spotty showers north of town when meteorologist Cam Tran joins you today. Then from there, watch how, actually, I don't know, is Cam in today? Cam might be. I think schedules are all fakakta at the station. I'm doing the 4, 5, 5:30, 6, 10, and 11 tonight. So I'm in for Tony, which means we get double doses of Coffee Talk, which means that I'll see you at 9 o'clock tonight for an evening update on Coffee Talk. And I'll try, I haven't done it here recently, but I'll try to hop on and do an early afternoon. We've kind of gone through a bit of a break, but I kind of want to try and get back to that. So anyway, 2 p.m., we'll be watching some showers and thunder showers around Central Florida, right? Nothing too intense. Notice by about 4 p.m. when we come on the air, Seminole, West Orange, Lake, even Marion County, pockets of heavier rainfall, 5, 6, 6:30. It's pushing east. Brevard, my friends, glad we're not trying for a Starlink tonight because that would be a little in question. And then heavy torrential downpours through sunset. There's about 8 o'clock tonight. All right. So it's going to rain in many locations. A healthy dose again of showers and thunder showers. Here's a look at that 7-day forecast. And let me bring the Fiona box down just so that we can kind of see what everything is. There you go. 50% coverage of rain today, 50% coverage of rain tomorrow. Then Wednesday, we start to dry things off. Interesting. Thursday, the first day of fall, we continue to dry things off. Interesting. Friday, Saturday, Sunday, we kind of bring it back up. Interesting. Why is that? Fiona. Would you believe me if I told you Fiona, as it passes off of our east coast, actually robs us of moisture? I hope you believe me. That's what's happening. So yeah, honest, Fiona's still alive. Oh, 100%. Yeah. So it's an interesting little scenario. And of course, with that, let's transition and talk about Hurricane Fiona. Here's a look at the storm system itself, and certainly we'll keep the box there in the bottom left corner of your screen. Intermediate advisory, maximum sustained winds are at 90 miles an hour. It is a Category 1 storm system, which is actually on the lower end of the totem pole on the Saffir-Simpson scale. And this is where I feel the need to discuss how the Saffir-Simpson scale may not be the best way to track storms, because the Saffir-Simpson scale only monitors maximum sustained winds, okay? But that said, winds are only one piece of tropical puzzle. I want to zoom in here, and you can see the storm system is over land. On the left side of your screen, you can see it's over the eastern tip there of the Dominican Republic. Notice how Puerto Rico still getting just blasted with rain. There has been over 1.5 feet in several locations. I've seen many reports approaching 20 inches of rain. 24 inches is 2 feet of rain. So this is where a couple of things come to note. First off, we'll get back into this here in just a couple of minutes, but let's look at the forecast from the National Hurricane Center, okay? The official forecast from the National Hurricane Center keeps Fiona well east of Central Florida, right? There's the official forecast. Tuesday, Cat 2 hurricane. Wednesday, Cat 3 hurricane. Thursday, Friday, it's staying well away from us, right? But it is recurving as a stronger storm system. So here's a bit of a closer inspection kind of the at least the next few days. Thursday, Friday is its closest pass to us, right? And it's recurving. But as it does so, think of it as, an area of low pressure is like a drain. It's the lowest point in the atmosphere. And so it's taking and gathering all of the available moisture, which is starving the Florida Peninsula of moisture. Yeah. So our rain chances go down. But conversely, while our rain chances are going down, the surf at our area beaches is starting to go up, okay? Kimberly says, I hope whoever asked about that wedding Saturday is doing okay in Puerto Rico. Yeah, I agree. Somebody had emailed me about that. I certainly hope. I certainly hope that that's the case. Yeah. Stephanie, hi Eric. I remember you saying there might be something tropical coming the beginning of October. Can we look at that today? We 100% are going to look at that today. Yeah, we're going to look at the long range stuff in just a little bit. Let's talk Fiona, then let's talk computer models as they stand now, and then we're going to get into the more long range scope, okay? So yes, absolutely. You know I've got your back. You know I've got you taken care of. Absolutely. Jason says, coffee up, let's do this thing. It's a Monday morning, and I'm sitting in an elementary school parking lot getting ready to do a school talk. You can see everybody's bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. It's lovely, lovely stuff. Liquid sunshine yesterday was crazy. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. All right, so that's the latest on Fiona. I continue to be concerned about Fiona's rainfall because the storm system has moved over the Dominican Republic now, but it is still providing this tail of moisture. So already having seen in some spots 20 inches of rain. But would you believe me if I told you that, let's just look from now on. Let's look through the future, next couple of days for Puerto Rico. The southern tip of the island there highlighted in yellows and even oranges, meaning that through this week, we could be talking about an additional 3 to 5 inches of rain in some spots on the island of Puerto Rico. In addition, so you're talking 2 feet of rain. And that's why when we talk about hurricanes, when we talk about tropical storms, the things that I absolutely hate, the things, I mean, I cannot even begin to, I don't dislike it. I straight up hate it. When a storm doesn't hit us and people say, oh, it's just a fish storm. If it doesn't impact anybody, it's a fish storm. This is impacting a lot of people. Puerto Rico is not uninhabited. The Dominican Republic is not uninhabited. The United States and British Virgin Islands are not uninhabited. People are being impacted. That's number one. Number two, oh, it's only a Category 1 storm. I don't have to worry about that. Or, oh, it's only a Category 1 storm. It's not a big deal. Did you guys and gals see the video from yesterday of the flooding? I was tweeting it as I was coming across it. Did any of you see this? Oh, it's only a Category 1 storm. Y'all, there was debris flying off roofs of buildings. There were bridges washed out. Only a Category 1 storm. You mean to tell me that isn't damage? It doesn't matter the category. It doesn't matter if it was a tropical storm. Every system is different. Every single system is different. And as is such, you have to treat them differently. The threats are different. Nancy says it was a rough night in Puerto Rico last night and still heavy rain. Absolutely. Absolutely. Going to be our first major hurricane, Jennifer says. Yeah, if Fiona continues to intensify, it will become the first major hurricane of the season. Cheryl says, only lived in Florida 4 years. Has there been a year where Florida didn't have any hurricanes? Well, of course, yeah. Gildred says, Puerto Rico reaching more than 25 inches of rain for some spots. The island is devastated once again. Differently, though, right? Like, that's the thing. And we were saying this the whole time. Fiona is not going to be the hurricane that blasts the storm with Category 4, Category 5 winds. This is going to be a storm that dumps just, I would say, inches upon inches of rain, but we know that not to be the case. We know it's feet upon feet of rain, right? 2 feet of rain. And obviously with terrain, that is a huge concern. You know? Oh, hold on a second. My car thought that I was trying to drive away. Devin says, yes, when Andrew hit South Florida years ago, we had gorgeous weather in North Central Florida that same day. Oh, absolutely. James, 6Z GFS has it hitting. Well, we're getting there, okay? So that's where Fiona is right now, okay? Any questions? comments, concerns, merely inquiring minds want to know, did they go to the wedding? Yeah, I have not seen the report. Now, that said, I will tell you that our WESH 2 crew, how are you doing all this if you have a laptop? I guess, Steve, I don't understand what your question is. Saul says, hi, Eric, I lost my home underwater. In Puerto Rico, I am so sorry. Wow. Sorry to hear that, bud. The pictures are terrible. The pictures are terrible. Yeah. I'm so sorry to hear. Nicole, I'm from Puerto Rico and I have family there. Thank you for mentioning that. Well, listen, of course, we have a huge population in Central Florida that either has family in Puerto Rico, they have a home in Puerto Rico, they're from Puerto Rico, and it's not just there, it's the Dominican Republic, it's Haiti. Think about it. Florida has a humongous Caribbean population, and so I always try to cover the Caribbean islands during Coffee Talk as if we were kind of at least a little local, just to kind of make sure everybody knows what's happening. Do you have a laptop in your automobile with all these graphics? Steve, remote access. Yes, remote access. But yes, I've got my laptop. I mean, I'm not driving. Truth be told, I'm sitting in a parking lot as the students are arriving in class. So, yeah, we're parked, we're safe, but yes, I'm doing Coffee Talk from the car. All right, so let's talk about what is ahead, okay? We know where Fiona's going. Oh, I hit the wrong button. Stand by. We know where Fiona's going. What about the computer models? All right, so here is the GFS. This is the 6Z run. So this is the most recent run of the GFS, and you can kind of see storm system continuing to recurve. That is Thursday 12Z. So that is going to be Thursday morning at 8 a.m. When we talk on Coffee Talk on Thursday morning, there's going to be more than likely a major hurricane. Is that say 9:45? I can't quite see it, but there's more than likely going to be a major hurricane off of our east coast. Now, that said, let's talk about it, because if you're talking about a major hurricane off your east coast, that's awful close. That also means you're talking big building waves, big building surf for Central Florida beaches. Look at our rip current beach potential. I think this is going to be a major story, at least the next few days. Yes, while we dry out, surfers paradise, swimmers nightmare. Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, you're talking about 5 to 6 foot breakers at our area beaches, with waves and seas offshore running 5 to 7 feet. So surfers sure are going to love that. The rest of us are not quite going to love that, okay? So that's local impacts. All right, let's continue on the GFS, recurving. Now, another thing I want to point out is, and it's hard to point out here. You see where it says hour 75 on the top right corner? There's a dot there, and I'm just going to move the storm out of the way. There's a little dot there. That's Bermuda. You see that right there? That's not great. That's early. That's 2 a.m. Friday. Fiona may get very, very close to Bermuda. Let's take a closer inspection. And what we're going to do is we're going to do wind, gust, mile per hour. All right. So let's just back this up. So there's the island of Bermuda. All right, let me go through time here. This is 5 p.m. Thursday. All right, and the island of Bermuda starting to get into those yellows. So you're talking about 50 mile per hour winds. Now you're talking 100 mile per hour winds. That is 11 p.m. Thursday. There's some of the worst weather there. That is 2 a.m. Friday. You're talking about 129 mile per hour winds. If I put the swath on here, just kind of categorically the worst weather, at least according to the GFS, Bermuda could see winds upward of 130 miles an hour. You see that 130 there? So, again, not a fish storm. That cone in the bottom left corner of your screen is representative of a major hurricane striking Bermuda, okay? So Let's just make sure we can agree on that. All right, let's switch this back, and you can see that's the wind gust swath there. So you can see kind of the big wind path, unfortunately, heading directly toward Bermuda. This can shift, more than likely will shift a little left or right. Hopefully it shifts away from Bermuda, but there's that, okay? All right, let's switch back to pressure and let's just look and see what else, tropically speaking, may be happening. While that's happening, notice in the Caribbean, there's another little something on right where it says forecast high 85. There's a 1,004 millibar low. What are you? Let's roll through time. You see there's something there, right? Trying to develop, heading toward the Cayman Islands, continuing to develop. It's funny, the BSR actually did show this. Now, that is not the most fun. That is Friday, 12Z, the 30th of September. Well, that's not the most fun in the world. It's 282 hours out. All right, September 30th, 8 p.m. That's not the most fun. Looking at this, my first reaction is, maybe Fiona is not the Florester. I don't know. You know, this is one of those things where you can't know for sure. You just kind of have to watch and play this out. But obviously, I don't love that. That's not the most fun kind of imagery there. So that's late September into early October. That's the GFS 6Z. Now, for consistency purposes, let's go back a model run. And you can see very different on the 0Z. That is not shown up. Lowered pressure, but nothing, nothing really wild. Let's go back from the 0Z to the 18Z. Something trying to form. Something in the vicinity. But, again, most recent run has a big hurricane in the Caribbean kind of looping back toward Florida. Not a done deal. That's the first run that's had that. So don't freak out when you see it, but there's definitely, an indication of that. Let's come over to the European. And interestingly enough, that same time frame there, notice that the European there does have something in a fairly similar scenario. So that's the European. Let's 0Z. Let's go to the 18. We got to go to the 12Z to be able to get that far out. The European, though, has had a bit more consistency there. All right, so interesting, right? Interesting. Around the end of September into early October. September, early October. I just want to look at the BSR and try and compare notes here and see. All right. So October 1st, where would that be on the BSR? Okay, let me just look and see here. It's showing low pressure south of us. I don't see anything monstrous, though. It's showing a low south of us, but nothing that would really be a major impact to us, at least in that time frame, the BSR, that is. So, the GFS and the Euro are both showing it, but it's way out there, so it's something to monitor. But, for now, we'll just have to see how that plays out. Let's take a look at the ensembles. Yeah, I mean, there's the ensembles trying to show something up, right? Yeah, I mean, the ensembles are showing something. They're not tightly in agreement, but they're showing something in the vicinity. So, all right, well, that's interesting stuff. That's definitely interesting stuff. We'll have to see how that plays out, huh? And that's what we'll do. All right. So 7-day forecast in the meantime, showing plenty of showers and storms today, tomorrow, a little lower coverage than we've seen, and then continuing to dry out Wednesday, Thursday, right in time for fall. Can you believe officially the autumnal equinox arrives this Thursday? It's at like 9-something p.m. Yeah. Can you believe that? Can you? It's already time. Man. All right, questions, comments, concerns. Joel, Florester. It's a part of our long-range weather pattern. And speaking of long range, let's just pop up this. Let me do this. We're looking down the pike. This is into October. I want to look here and just see. What we're looking at here is it's basically a teleconnection. It's the Bering Strait rule, and the idea is that the weather in the Bering Strait directly kind of correlates to the weather here locally. So you're looking at September 19th in the Bering Strait today, which is 1, 2. That's like October 6th. May have a little storm system off of our east coast around October 6th. Something else near us. Nothing of note. Looks like a nice big fall storm system. Be around October 13th. Nice big fall front. Looks like some sort of piece of moisture coming through here. That's around October 15th, 16th. Big front right there. Around the 20th of October. Yeah, all right. So, pretty quiet, relatively speaking, at least tropically, from the indication into mid-October, which would be okay with me. All right, questions, comments, concerns. Maps and car, green screen roof. Oh, yeah. No. Hey, good morning, Janice. Good morning to you. Tina said they were having some nasty flooding in Alaska over the weekend. Yeah, I mean, massive storm system, the remnants of a typhoon. And the BSR would state that will cycle through like the first couple of days of October. So if you see a big like a, plain states storm system getting up toward Canada, that would be that Bering Strait storm system. Terry, are we going to be getting rain from Fiona in Brevard? No, this storm system is going to stay way out to sea. Way out to sea. Not a problem at all. So Fiona will most likely miss us. We will... no offshoots of rain. It will 100% miss us, yeah. Uncle Tony's what? Oh, bada bing, Uncle Tony. Hey, Uncle Tony, I'm in your neighborhood, Uncle Tony. Let's see here. You did an excellent job. I wish we had you down here in South Florida. These meteorologists down here don't give quite the detail. Well, thank you, Steve. I appreciate it, bud. Hey, you can always watch Coffee Talk, The chief is watching. Bada bing! Do you think that next one the GFS is showing is going to be a major hurricane? Listen, the GFS and the Euro are showing something way down the pike. I don't think it's going to be anything just yet. The burden of proof is on the models to show consistency and to show me. So I don't know. I don't show. Tony, bada bing. Good morning. Yeah, the models are showing something. This time of year, they should be showing stuff. So we'll watch. We'll see how it plays out. What would I substitute for the Saffir-Simpson scale? I'm not smart enough to know that. I would just say, though, that I think that the Saffir-Simpson scale is great, but there is more room to do something else. I don't know what that is. But it doesn't accurately dictate. Like, case in point, Fiona, Category 1 storm system. Oh, it's a Category 1. We're fine. We don't have any problems. Except you've got problems. You've got 2 feet of rain falling. So there is a bit of a concern there, right? So I do think that down the line, perhaps there is something that can be a better attribute. I don't know. That's what my hope would be. Thanks for the updates, Betty. Of course, my pleasure. Taylor says guidance, not gospel. That's the models, baby. Guidance, not gospel. No, it's just like my long range forecasting, right? Like, know that it's cool, know that it gives you an idea, but know its limitations. Know that you can't really trust it all that much. It's kind of like when my toddler says he's going to do something. Sure. And then when it plays out, you're like, oh, hey, cool. That worked out. But next time you may not be so lucky, right? Last night, after 7 years of trying, got a great video of the launch. After 7 years of trying, they finally got the launch, right? Oh, man. Janice appreciates you. Can always pop in here and get the latest. Oh, well, thank you very much, my love. I appreciate that very much. Rosebud, doesn't have to be a hurricane to cause damage. Exactly right. Yeah. All right. So that's the latest on Fiona. Category 1 storm expected to become our first major hurricane of the season, according to the National Hurricane Center. One point of note, if you have friends or family in Puerto Rico, you can watch WAPA at wapa.tv. Now, it is in Spanish. So if you speak the language, cool. I don't, but it's fascinating to watch local coverage. So they are broadcasting there. That is a local television station on Puerto Rico. They're covering things on the kind of whole Caribbean front of what's going on. Okay. In the meantime, for us, the big headline as we push to Thursday, fall beginning, and that weather pattern beginning to dry out a little bit. I like it. All right. Listen. I'm going to try for a 3:30 coffee talk. We'll see if that plays out. If not, I will see you at 9 o'clock tonight. Okay, friends, for the actual evening edition of Coffee Talk. It may not be Manolfi, but I'll throw in a couple of bada bings, bada booms, and, we'll see if we can't make it work at least a little bit. All right? Listen, I'm going to go do a school talk. Be the sunshine in someone else's day. Thank you so much for hanging out for Coffee Talk. I will see you guys and gals online later on this evening, and, I just got an update from the Weather Service. Wow, there are areas with 25 inches of rain on Puerto Rico. I will see you guys as well on TV for 5, 4, 5, 5:36, 10, and 11. All right?